YouTube, Dailymotion, Facebook, and Tumblr fans. What's going on? My name is Midnight Strike 3625, and you are watching the long-awaited episode of my Versus series. Now, the good news is the hiatus is over. The unexpected hiatus in between my last episode, Sonic 06 and Sonic Genesis, and this episode is going to take place as the season hiatus that I kind of place in the middle, just to kind of divide up the two halves, just to take kind of like a short break so that I'm not so burnt out. So I've taken quite a long break for this one, and I've been doing them bi-weekly as opposed to weekly, but that's about to change. Welcome back to your weekly Versus, once again restored to Thursdays. Every single Thursday, you will be getting a Versus from me. So this one is, of course, going to be the long-awaited episode, as I have stated numerous times before. Killswitch Engage and Trivium, the two metalcore bands formed in 1999 and 2003, I believe, respectively. So basically, getting into it, I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to give my opinions, and then you guys can voice yours in the comments section down below. And to get on with it, Killswitch Engage is one of those bands that I actually covered in my Summer of Discography reviews and the pilot episode of this very series. Killswitch Engage, Howard Jones and Jesse Leach, the singer, the kind of like conflict that was going on. Which singer is better? Which singer has the better screaming capability? Which singer has the better cleans? It was kind of a controversy that was growing even larger when I made that Versus video. Even before Disarm the Descent was released, people were drawing lines in the sand on which one they thought was better. So I decided, you know, this is a good opportunity for a new series. So I made the episode Jesse Leach and Howard Jones Versus. Which one do you think is better? And it just kind of took off from there. It was an idea, it was a prototype that just kind of evolved into something even larger than myself. So getting into it though, Killswitch Engage is one of those bands that I really didn't pay much attention to. I mean, I heard My Curse, the radio edit that kind of sounded forced with all the effects and everything, with the lack of screaming of My Curse, like I said, and the cover of Holy Diver by Dio. So I thought that Killswitch Engage, that Howard Jones had an amazing vocal range on that song. And the screams, although I didn't like screaming back in 2007, I thought actually fit the song, and they were able to incorporate their own elements of what kind of band they were into this song that was just straight up heavy metal and just make it their own. Now it's one of my favorite covers of all time, but you know, at the time I was just like, okay, you know, it's good. I don't really like screaming that much, but it's good. So they kind of fell off my radar for a really long time, up until this year when I said, you know, okay, Killswitch Engage, new album, yeah, I'm not going to give it a listen, whatever. I'm not really into that band. But when I actually found out that it was going to have Jesse Leach back again, which is also something I forgot. I forgot they had two singers. Some person one of my high school friends just kind of told me about that in the Wayside. So I've never heard the original singer of Killswitch Engage. I'm curious now. So I went out to go listen to it, and I was blown away. That's when I got their discography, that's when I started listening to them, and I said, you know, I'm going to give this band another shot. So I did. And my findings are that they're a little bit more on the melodic side of metalcore, especially with the elements that are included on As Daylight Dies and The End of Heartache, and to a greater extent, their 2009 album, which I really don't like, KSE09, Killswitch Engage, self-titled. It's really melodic, but also really pop-oriented and commercialized, and there's a lot more vocal effects. It's kind of like, I feel like Howard Jones is kind of in his Darth Vader kind of thing, where he needs like all these machines and effects to kind of get his point across and everything, to kind of, you know, enhance his vocals a little bit. It's like Darth Vader, where he's on life support practically. Not, you know, figuratively, of course, but that's kind of how I feel about KSE09 a little bit. It was a valiant try. It was a valiant effort, but not really the greatest. So when it comes to that, I think KSE09 is their weakest. They're more on the melodic side. Trivium, however, is a band that I got into with the help of my friend Chaotic Spider 1, which is another YouTube user that I just recently got into YouTube, and now he's reviewing and everything. Really shy, so, you know, give him some time. He'll get a lot better. Trust me, I know him. He's a really cool dude. You should check him out. I'll probably post a link in the description, since he got me into Trivium. So they're more on the thrashy side of metalcore, which by all means is really great because I come from a background of, thrash metal, Metallica, Megadeth, and just bands like that, basically. What's another one? Anthrax, Slayer, those kind of bands. And I immediately took to the album The Crusade, although I don't really like it as much now. I thought they were kind of Metallica knockoffs, but I liked how they incorporated it to sound a little bit more aggressive than Metallica. So that was my first exposure to Trivium, and I especially like the songs Anthem We Are the Fire, To the Rats, and Tread the Floods. Those are my favorite songs of all time off that album, and I still will defend them to this day. Over time, I've grown to other songs like Contempt Breeds Contamination and Becoming the Dragon, but that's for my Crusade video that I already made. So basically, getting into it, I didn't like the screaming at all from Trivium, as opposed to Killswitch Engage, where I actually did love it a lot. But, like I said, I love the thrash elements, I love the sound of the guitars, the production is very, very up there with most of their albums, with the exception of their first album, of course, Ember to Inferno, and to a minor extent in Waves. But when I started listening to it and just discovering all that they had, I found that even Matt Heafy's cleans were probably some of my favorites on just the entire discography of Trivium versus Killswitch Engage. He's just right up there. When you compare the three vocalists, Matt Heafy, Jesse Leach, and Howard Jones, I'm not sure. I'm thinking Matt Heafy has the better screams, or the better cleans, excuse me, and combined as a total, Howard Jones and Jesse Leach have the better screams. I'm not really too big of a fan of Matt Heafy's screams, so, when it comes to the discography, however, Killswitch Engage has it nailed. Just nailed. I mean, they also have, their worst album is not as bad as The Crusade. I mean, their Trivium's worst album, The Crusade, is not as bad as KSE09, mind you. But then again, Killswitch Engage have Disarm the Descent, which in my eyes is a perfect album. So, with that in mind, even though I love In Waves, Vengeance Falls, and Ascendancy, they're just not up to snuff with, say, Disarm the Descent and Daylight Dies. So, when it comes to discography, I believe as a whole, Killswitch Engage has it covered. I like Killswitch Engage a little bit better in that department, but overall as a band, I'm just kind of torn. I mean, they're both amazing metalcore bands, and even if you don't really want to consider Trivium metalcore, I'm just kind of incorporating that in there because of the screaming aspect of it. So when it comes down to it, I think I'm just going to have to give a little bit of edge to Killswitch Engage just because of their discography and just the way that Adam Dutkowitz, I believe it is, produces all of their albums is just stellar. I mean, he produces some of All That Remains material, and it's some of the best produced material I've ever listened to. I mean, even Disarm the Descent, it's clear, it's heavy, it's vibrant, and the same thing with As Daylight Dies. Just the production value on some of those albums is just mind-blowing. Much like Ascendancy, for Trivium's sake, but I'm not exactly sure who produced Ascendancy, but it is up there with some of Killswitch Engage's later material. So with that, I do like Killswitch Engage a little bit better, just a hair. But that's not to say that Trivium isn't a formidable, proponent or opponent, moreover. So with that, Killswitch Engage gets the edge, but I want to know what you guys think. Who do you think is the better band, Killswitch Engage or Trivium? This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.